come up. I'm Ben Villegas, and today we're following up with, as the sign says, the main carved champion, and he made this beautiful giraffe, and as you can see, it's my height. I'm standing on the trailer with it, and it's over me by a foot. He started off with 7 feet, and this is the finished product. Let me step out of the way here so you can see the whole thing. It is a magnificent piece of a giraffe head turning, and then the bottom is carved, and he's going to add the continent of Africa to it. So it's not finished, but it's finished enough to win a championship. Let's introduce Rip and Tear owner. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Jason Murieen. Pleasure to be here today.
Thanks for joining us. I didn't get a chance to make it to Sunday. I got most of Saturday. I was there a pretty good chunk of the day. But then Sunday was Mother's Day, and we had 2 prior engagements and couldn't get away. But this is beautiful. When we were there Saturday, you were nowhere near done.
No.
A lot of the pieces were, but I never even saw this one. It's beautiful. Can you tell us what inspired you to do this piece?
Well, just I've been doing real basic stuff like bears and things like that. A couple years ago in 2019 for the semi-pro, 5 minutes before the competition, I decided to do a Wolverine, a mother Wolverine, and a couple babies down below, and it really resonated with folks, and because people see bears and eagles all the time, and that's what I normally do during the quick carves when I'm trying to branch out and do things different. You just don't see giraffes very often, and yeah, my wife, she inspired me. She's a giraffe girl.
Nice.
She's
A lot of figurines all over the house.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you got that.
So which one did you copy this one off of?
Just one I found, and yeah, I've looked at a lot of them. So
Nice. It looks like you did your research. It's beautiful.
thank you.
Can you tell us about the process of carving this?
Okay, well, it involves a lot from getting the log. You know, you grab a big, as you can see, this is a chunk of sugar pine, timber products. The mill out there toward Montague donated the wood. It's really nice of them. Sometimes Tristan Allen, CLT Logging. The big players out there are always willing to give back for art in the local community. And this is a large piece of sugar pine. You can't tell, but it was bigger than that pallet. I had a little bit of rot on the blue and stuff, the bug damage. I cut it all off. It's really good wood in the center. And this was salvaged from a fire down the river somewhere. And it was large. It was probably a little over 4 foot, 49 inches by a little over 7 foot tall.
That's a good piece.
Yeah, real good piece. We had really good wood this year. Had some sequoia, and sequoia is always a little bit better, sequoia and cedar, but
It's harder to come across.
Yeah, it doesn't happen all the time. But I'll gladly take a piece of sugar pine too. It's good wood. It moves really easy, it's soft.
This piece right here is a giraffe, and you were telling me the inspiration was?
Well, it's a combination of stuff, but yeah, I've seen several of them around my house. My wife is a giraffe fan, and when you look at something enough, you've had a few beers and whatnot, you start to kind of get it locked in your head. Start to visualize it, yeah. You can always do better, God's creation is always perfect, and all you can try to do is emulate it. It's kind of it's a combination of artistic rendition and, what you see in nature. So the masters out there like Bob King, Chris Foltz, the bigger names, Mark Culp, Ryan Anderson, Jake Lucas, those guys are always telling me, hey, look at books, look at pictures, and do the best you can to kind of copy Mother Nature. And that way you get your proportion, you capture all that stuff. And
That's amazing.
Your anatomy properly. So I'm learning just,
So your other piece that we saw that I got on my previous video was the owl carving, and that was a quick carve. This was a 2-day piece, correct?
Yes, about 2.25 days probably. Cumulatively, probably like 18 hours of carve time is available to you. You can take breaks as you need. But yeah, the quick carve is a 1 hour. Well, it varies. It can be 1 hour, hour and 15, hour and a half. And we just go as hard as you can, and we let the customer kind of finish it. Let them put the oil on it. Sometimes they burn it. We'll try to burn those things, but time is of the essence. Sometimes we tackle too big of a piece, and it's like a bench, and sometimes you can get kind of busy. You can overextend yourself really quickly.
I saw you working on those feet for quite a while.
Yeah.
I didn't see you carve them in, but you sanded them, you put a lot of machines on it afterwards. You torched them a little bit, you worked them a lot.
Yeah.
And that was just the feet, so the rest of it was that much more detailed.
Oh yeah, it was hard because he was a big owl, and if you have more time, like an hour and a half, I would have put toenails into it, would have burned them, and it would have looked a lot better. I would have, put more texture on it and such. But
So
yeah.
what happened to the owl piece? Did that one?
It
I
went,
heard there was going to be an auction. Was there one?
yes, later that evening, about 3:30, they do two quick carves a day, and at the end of the day, they auction both the results of those quick carves off. And so I don't know exactly what it brought, but somebody got a good deal. There's always good deals to be had at those quick carve auctions, and it raises money for prize money and for the fairgrounds. And there's quite a bit of cost involved in putting one of these on.
About how much did it cost you, if you don't mind me asking? Just, I see your trailer, I see your equipment.
Oh,
You got a
yeah.
lot of money invested in your trade.
A tremendous amount, yeah, and I've collected it over the years. I didn't acquire this overnight.
So to go to one competition, you need like how much funds to just enter?
Well, you could start out, on a shoestring budget. You could start out with a large chainsaw, a small chainsaw, an angle grinder, torch, and maybe a die grinder. Like 5 things. But really, I've seen guys with a chainsaw, a torch, and an angle grinder get a lot done.
One of those gentlemen, what he said to me is, I look at it this way: the one that did the double wolves right behind
Oh
you.
yes, Mighty Bob King.
You might have heard him when he was speaking to me. He said everything is a piece of firewood when you start.
Yeah.
And if when you finish carving you don't like it, you still got a piece of
You
firewood.
got a piece of firewood. There
That
you
was
go.
a challenge for me to carve something. I'm like, I got wood all over the place.
Yeah.
I just got to go find it in the woods and come carve it.
Yeah, that's how you start. I think what he was getting at there, the message maybe, was like when he first started, I remember him talking about that. Somebody gave him a piece of wood, and I don't remember exactly, but this guy walks on water. He's like the Michael Jordan of carving, and I've always looked up to him. And so I remember his words. He said something to the effect that somebody gave him a nice piece of cedar and just sat out there, and he was worried about messing it up. He didn't want to, he was worried, so he wanted to practice on other stuff, and it took him the longest time before he put his saw to that piece of wood. But ultimately, he got amazingly good. And I remember meeting him at the Eugene logging show. It was many, many years ago, and I was just like, I'd never seen the art before. I'd heard of it vaguely, like in the redwoods or something, but didn't know nothing about it. And then I saw him doing that. I was like, wow. He was doing like a doll sheep, I remember, and it just really resonated with me.
I was really blown away by his wolves because he was done on day one.
Oh yeah, he absolutely was. He is
I'd like to
fast.
see it finish.
He's like master class good. He's that good.
Well, you're not too far behind. This is a beautiful piece.
I would like to keep emulating him, and he's given me a lot of good advice. Yeah, I appreciate it. And these guys, Chris Foltz took me aside that night and gave me this philosophy of his, and it's the tutelage that these people provide is invaluable. Ryan Anderson, Jake Lucas, Mark Culp. I mean, I could name several guys off. There's about a half a dozen of them that have really reached out to me and mentored me, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Because had they not ever reached out, I would still be carving pieces of firewood.
Well, we know where you come from. You've been doing it a while now.
Mm-hmm.
We see what you did this last weekend with this piece.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you going now? You said you competed in pro level?
Well, now, yeah, that technically was sort of a pro competition. It didn't have divisions. Normally we have a semi-pro division and then a pro division. And I was going to be in the semi-pro in Reed Sport this year, but we just literally got off the phone with the promoters, and we went ahead and cast our ballot as a pro.
As a pro, you're stepping up into the big leagues.
Yeah, it's tough because these guys, I always see it like semi-pro, which is like amateur, like I feel about myself still, because I don't do this full time, to pro, and then you have like master's class, and a lot of these master's classes are lumped into the pro division. They're world renowned. They travel the world. They go to Germany, Australia, South America, you name it. They've been all over the place.
Was that gentleman behind you sponsored by Makita?
Yes.
Because all his machinery, his tent,
Yeah.
everything is Makita.
Yep. And
I'm like, this dude's a sponsor. I noticed that right off the bat.
He's that good. I mean, they want their name on his product. So
Okay.
yeah, and he provides a lot of the tools to us too, which is invaluable because at these shows they always bring a little store with them, and you learn about new tools. And Bob is always making little demo videos. Cindy's great. They teach you about this stuff because every year there's a new little gadget, new little gimmick. Some are kind of, they're a little overinflated, but other ones are invaluable. So it's good to have them there.
That's amazing. I'm glad you got into a respectable competition with respectable people.
Oh, very much.
Took the championship one.
I'm still in shock.
And now you're traveling somewhat for it.
Yeah, we'll go to Reedsport next, Father's Day weekend. I think that's, I'm not really sure, mid-June, third week in June there, and from there we'll go up to Ocean Shores, Washington, and then we go up to Cedar Woolley as kind of spectators and just kind of assistants. We'll go up there and help. That's kind of master class up there, but yeah, there's a circuit they go on. I can only go so far because fire season's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a day job.
Like I told you before, I'll definitely see you at the fair.
Yes, yeah.
Because you'll be there again at the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
And Oscar and I have seen you carve there before.
Yeah.
So next video we can already expect will be around fair time.
Yep, probably.
And whatever your wife supplies me from your travels.
Okay.
I'll let it whatever she brings me.
All right. Awesome.
Because I saw the pictures, and this video will have pictures of you carving it, and it'll begin and end with finished product.
Okay.
So
great.
it'll have a little cue the process.
Awesome.
No.